whole meeting to order. Is there anyone with other comments? Okay, then we'll move right along to the agenda. Discussion first is the art club.
Mr. Patino, you just want to review that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kim Tavalia put in for an art club. I don't know that it ever got to the board. She kind of emailed me right after Annabelle was born and when I was like really sick with COVID. So she was kind of under the impression that it got approved. I didn't tell her yes, but probably didn't tell her no either. She ran the art club all year. She had about 10 students, met with them every week from 3 to 4. So I would like her to get paid for it if possible.
I think it's something that he kind of slipped through, should have been put through. It's about $400 stipend in the situation, but it was nice to have that many kids involved, I guess. That club came from one of the surveys we did, remember last year, the kids were on it, so that's something we could do. So I think that's more of a discussion, but we'll make it more of an approval.
I would entertain a motion to reimburse her for the art club.
Motion.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
And
Is
then
that-
you
is
put
that
it
gonna
in
be
this year's
ongoing?
budget, correct?
I want to
Yeah,
know if
yeah,
that will be ongoing, the art club for
Yeah.
next.
Put it in for this year's budget,
Okay, that
so it's in there for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
What did they do? Did they do are they in charge of the murals?
No, but they did a bunch of art projects, and next year what she's starting to do is set up a website. So when the art club meets, they'll have like a little, portal that we could link to on the main page, which is cool, and then parents could also visit, show up what they're doing.
And if you let the school board know about it, we could also. do
Yeah, and you can even contribute if you want.
that.
Was that happy?
It was all of this school year, all of the 21-22 school year.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next point is the safety committee.
We have a district safety committee meeting today, about 10 people there for the committee. A couple people couldn't make it, but for the most part, we had good representation from across the district, elementary, middle school, and high school, and some administration. We reviewed the district safety plan, which you guys had last month, and also I reviewed that with Officer Peruzzi and Chief the month before. We put that on for 30 days on our website if anybody had any comments. And so we reviewed that plan. We reviewed our lockdown and safety procedures. And just to kind of recap, we had Day Automation come in last week and review our lockdown. We have now the capabilities of putting in a 4-digit code in every classroom. And that will trip the system to automatically send something over the announcements that there's a lockdown. It'll notify dispatch so they can get to our cameras. It'll notify the police, the fire, the administration gets a text. All those get a text at the same time. The doors automatically close. The swipers are now off. And it signals all of that with one 4-digit code, which is really encouraging. The blue lights go on the outside. We're putting some strobe lights in the music rooms and the gyms because sometimes it gets too loud in there and they won't hear the announcement. Now they'll see the strobe light as well go off. And the swiper passes will only be at that point available to administration, police, and fire. So if somebody had to come in. What's great about the dispatch is they're going to be able to say, okay, somebody's on the second floor in this wing, so if something was to happen, somebody can come in and immediately see where that person is. So we tested that last week. It was nice because you're getting those off, but you got the texts. And they're testing it again this week because they had a little hiccup down elementary school with the sound system, something we might have to look at. Because the old building and the new building part don't mesh because the sound systems, when they built the new building, it didn't really connect. So they're going to test and kind of give us a recommendation on what we think we might need, if we need a change in that piece. But overall, we're really happy where we are in terms of where our lockdown procedures are and what we have capable of doing in one fell sweep of 4-digit code. I'll go over that with the faculty and staff. I'm also going to be putting a video together. I've talked with BOCEs. They're going to help me through, kind of make like a little video to talk about all these things and send it out to the public and say where we are, what processes we have in place, and just show some of the pieces that we have in our district and how single point of entry, how we have the blue lights, how we have the ALICE training through Officer Peruzzi, And he's also gonna be doing, I met with him, we're gonna do monthly video reminders on little things that we don't think about all the time. And he's gonna send those out monthly, just simple reminders. And also, we purchased, looking to purchase the ladders for the second and third floor of the classroom. So they'll have those in there too if they have to get out of the building. So good movement and good direction there. And that video we'll share all that. And the sheriff made a video as well about the ALICE training and what we do in the lockdown situation. And he did that for the whole county. And we'll attach that video as well. So it's kind of more of a educational piece for our parents in our community. In our video, we'll talk about what we have and just in-depthly talk about how important it is to let people know and notify people if they see anything. And how important it is to contact somebody, even if it's anonymously. That's something you might be seeing something, how important that is, because as we all know, that's the first line of defense, type of thing. So we talked about that a little bit today. And then I had a conversation with, I think I mentioned this to you at the retreat. I watched a Parkland, documentary, and I was just really kind of taken back how unprepared they were. We talked about this a little bit, and we kind of vetted this out with a meeting with the police, the sheriff, administration. Mark was there, and we had a pretty decent conversation on, how we can go to the next step and do kind of more of an active drill. I mentioned that with the safety committee, and it was good to get the perspectives. For example, one person on the committee is also a mother of a student here. And I said, what's your opinion on this? How do you think your child would feel? And she felt more of, I feel like it would be more educational for our kids than it would be trauma inflicting for our kids. That was an interesting perspective. So the next step is to talk to the faculty and staff about that and how we would go about doing it. And this drill wouldn't be, oh, boom, here's a drill. It would be vetted out to parents, be vetted out to the community, be vetted out to the faculty and staff and the students, and explain that this will be a drill, but it will be, it'll be active. But on this Thursday and Friday, we will have a drill, for example. And I think the important part of that is to see what our response times are, to see what we actually do. So we won't give up the exact time in those days. And then we'll trip the system in terms of a time. So see how fast the police get here, see how fast we can get our buses in line to block off entrances and exits, and see how fast we can get everybody into place. In the meantime, let's see what people do if they hear some yelling or screaming in the hallways, if they maybe hear some things like a gunshot, things of that nature. So as Mark mentioned, he vetted some of this out too, and there's like 90% of the districts in the country that do active drills. So this isn't, and I think if we do it the right way in terms of letting people know and being very outspoken and vocal and communicative, I think it'll be a learning experience more than it'll be anything else. I think, again, the thing I took away from the Parkland video was, are we doing everything we can? And I don't know if we are. And I think this will be the next piece that we can. Because I'm happy where the PBS staff is. I'm happy with the counseling staff we have in place and the extra counselors we put in place to make sure we have people available for level 1, which is hitting people before this gets worse, right? That's our first line of defense. So a good response from the committee. They were, in favor of the drill as well. And again, it was a cross-reference of different people. So next step, we'll be talking to faculty and staff on opening day to talk about our safety procedures, to talk about what we might be doing. This won't happen overnight. This will happen sometime in the spring, and we'll filter this through with some things leading up to it, like little things, like maybe pulling the fire alarm during the lockdown and see what people do, stuff like that. So that's where we are with the safety committee.
Okay, I have a couple of questions on this, but I also have some questions on the safety plan, which is on the approval agenda.
Yep.
So should we wait for that on the approval agenda? Or do you want to do that now?
Yeah, we can do that now, I guess.
Okay. One couple of questions I have. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that at this meeting where we looked at the Parkland video and discussed, the drills, both Chief McFadden and I raised the question that we absolutely want students to be prepared and staff to be prepared to deal with the possibility of this happening Although I would just indicate that only 2 schools out of 135,000 have a active shooter every year. So it's not a high likelihood. But that aside, we could be one of those 2. But Chief McFadden and I did a bunch of reading on it, and there is a real question about, what type of drills to have that will help prepare the staff and students, minimizing the trauma, because there's been some real issues of students being traumatized. So I would question the concept of yelling in the hallway and gunshots and things like that. And I think that's something that we really should investigate further, to really design the most effective and least traumatic type of drill that we can come up with. And I just wanted to say that and express my concern, both based on my thinking about it, but also what I read. And it's certainly an issue all over the country in terms of how to design these drills. And there's very different types of drills, And, so anyhow, the one question I did have that you mentioned about the passes no longer working once lockdown happens. What happens, let's say, if a student was in the bathroom and comes to the door, can you open the door for them?
Yes, you can open from the inside, right?
Okay, the pass is only working on the outside?
Yeah, that way, that ensures the door is locked. Because what could happen sometimes is somebody forgets to lock the door, or there's a passageway into another location, and that way we know every door locks. So, and the mindset has changed a little bit to where it used to be, no matter who knocks on that door, you don't let them in. The mindset has changed a little bit to use some more common sense. If you're not hearing, gunshots or things going on in that hallway, be smart. Open that door if you know it's a kid. You know what I mean? And if you know, if you don't, obviously you don't. But so that mindset has changed a little bit to that. So I think it would we'd have that option of opening that door. Put it that way. So.
Now, I have a bunch of questions on the safety plan. Does anyone else have any comments or
I
questions?
just have one question. I've forgotten what age level we were doing this at? What grade level? Just high school?
Yeah, I think that's what we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put the other schools in lockdown, and we do the actual drill up here. And again, we're far off, so it's just more planting the seed right now.
Any other questions on that? Okay, so any questions on the safety plan? Because I have several.
Okay.
Okay. The first thing, when I looked at the safety team listed in the safety plan, it says the school board representative should be part of that team, and we're not. So I think that, that we should have a representative on that team.
Sure.
So that we can be aware of everything else on input. So, I guess I would ask if anyone wanted to volunteer for that.
I can do it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Patty?
Yep.
All right.
Usually meet 2 or 3 times a year, so I'll keep you abreast.
Then, on page 6, they talk about a tabletop drill, and I have no idea what that is.
That's actually doing like everybody's sitting in a room and going through the whole scenario. So what you would do is you explain what the scenario would be. Okay, here's an active shooting. Shooting gets into the elementary school, and we call lockdown. What's our first steps? And everybody goes around in the room and says, okay, we would do this, then we would do this. So it's actually role playing for the most part. They call it tabletop. And we do those every so often. We did that with the evacuation drill last year, actually.
On page 7, it talks about newsletters and pamphlets to parents and guardians. Are we doing that, or has it been done?
That's what I'm doing with the video and the information going out. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say pamphlets, but we could probably change that to educational materials,
Okay.
because that was probably written, 10 years ago, when you probably didn't do as many videos, but mine's been more of a video type of piece. Does that make sense? Yep.
And then the last thing is, a couple of things, sorry. On page 15, they talk about kids being picked up at school and parents, and it identifies who can pick them up, but it doesn't really talk about what we talked about at that drill meeting, where we really want to prevent parents from coming during the active shooter part.
Right.
And I think somehow that should be talked about in there, that we want to discourage parents from coming to school should there be an incident like that. Because as he said, I don't know if you caught this, but we're gonna have school buses block all the entrances to the schools so people can't drive here. But I think that should be an explicit part of our,
Say page.
page 15 is where they talk about
Yeah,
it
we'll
picked up.
put something there
So I
about
think
that.
it should be indicated, don't think about picking up your kid until we tell you it's
Maybe
okay.
there's a place for them to go, like
There would
off,
be.
you know, off
Yep.
campus,
And
someplace
so
that's.
that
That would be
really
communicated once
Place
we,
muster to be able to.
Right,
yeah.
get information.
Yeah, so that I think should be clearly
Sounds
spelled
good.
out in there. And then the last thing which they talked about in there was about the COVID protocols. And it's kind of confusing to me.
What page?
I didn't write down the page number on that.
Probably the last 4 or 5.
And I would just like to have it clearly explained to me what the current protocol is now for COVID. I think it should be more clearly explained than it is in there, because I couldn't understand, which maybe is just me, but I think it should say, if you're diagnosed with COVID, this is what you have to do. If you have COVID symptoms, this is what you have to do. You know, it doesn't really, it's just very unclear, I think.
Yeah, remember, that's the safety plans, is generalizations. This isn't I want to say, a medical plan. That's more of a safety plan, you give generalizations on that. So basic things like 5 days.
Is
I don't
it
think we have to
five,
go-
is it 5 days after diagnosis, is it 5 days
Yeah.
after you're clear? You know, I mean, I think that if it's gonna be mentioned at all, I think it just take a few sentences and just spell it out, the current guidelines. You know, just, it should be clear.
Put more detail on it.
Yeah,
As of August 2022.
Yeah, exactly. I said it
Way
in
to do it every
a,
year. Yeah.
I said it in a health meeting today with the county, and they, no. So, like, it does, I think it does have to be very general, because it could change within the next 5 minutes, so.
But we'll put it in, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, but I just want to, right now, what's the,
Yeah.
what's the story?
Yeah.
We could be
We-
back masks in October, for all we know, yeah.
I don't think they'll touch that, they want to get rid of it. This is a shame.
December.
It's a shame I have to say that, but I think that's what it would end up at.
Okay, so that, I'm sorry to have so many questions.
That's
No,
okay,
no, no, no.
it's fine, that's
The
what
idea.
this is for.
Okay, so then if there's no other questions or comments, we'll move on to Learning 2025 committee update.
Patty can kind of mention some of it too. We had a great meeting yesterday with the group that went down to the summit. We broke up into groups, as we talked about the retreat, and each group took one of the initiatives. One was a portrait of a graduate, one was the social emotional learning, one was the academies, and one was the badging system. And what we did is each group from different areas, from staff to administration and teachers, and they broke down, each administrator had a group. I'm gonna be more of the general, go around to each group and kind of mostly be the devil's advocate / district-wide vision. Because sometimes when you're in a group, you just have that vision, you wanna see how it all pulls together. So what they did is they sat down and started talking about preliminary talks about each one of those areas, what they would wanna do, go back to the schools that they didn't visit, start to put some meeting dates together in terms of formulating that plan. If you remember, our goals was to devise those plans this year and then implement them later, right? So this year gives us time as that unit, each one of that committee, to devise those plans. So we'll devise the plan for the badging, devise the plan for the academies, and then we'll take it from there, meaning we'll vet through it, we'll see what might be missing, we'll see what we can change or alter. And then the first attack is the portrait of a graduate. So we're gonna start to do with that, is we're gonna put the survey together, which is already done, and we're gonna get that out to the community around October, so we can start to formulate responses from all stakeholders. We're gonna do an attack mode type of a thing. We want grandparents, community members, businesses, higher education, students, faculty, staff. And then from that survey, we'll get a committee together to really break down what those 5 or 6 components should be for a portrait of a graduate in our district. And that committee will be driven by, same thing, higher education, business leaders. And what we want is a cross-reference of about 40 people in that committee. And we're gonna really kind of really push this out. Like it's gonna be kind of a venture here to push this out to make sure everybody has a piece of it. And what we do from that committee is we design the 5 or 6 components that we think are most important through all of those stakeholder groups. And then once they pick those components, they will define those components. And then from there, we'll backfill that with how are we going to give those students the tools that they need to reach those competencies, like communication, collaboration, cognitive thinking. And we'll backfill that with the things that we're doing, which is the academies, the social emotional learning, excuse me, the badging, and we'll backfill it with that. But more than anything, is getting 40 to 50 community members on board to the things that we want to do, moving the district to, the next stage. And talk about how important that we have to change the way we do things, right? We're doing a lot of great things, but we want to change it, keep it up with what's a kindergartner going to look like in 2035 when they graduate, and what needs are we going to meet for them, and how can we devise our programming to fit that. And that committee will be a big part of that, along with vetting out with faculty, staff, and administration. But that'll be our sounding board, 40 or 50 people in our community talking about that, plus the 20 people on the committee who are putting it together, and plus a bunch of our new staff coming. So you have a great opportunity to kind of start fresh and new with some new ideas and concepts. So Patty, is there anything that we
No, I think you covered that.
kind of missed? And Patty's on the committee for the portrait of a graduate,
Alicia,
along with Carol Ann Hammonds, along with Alicia, and who else?
At Maria Marati.
Maria Marati. So you got some administration, I got a board member, you got a new teacher, you got, so you got a good mixture there of people who are on that. And we did a really good job already, and we'll start, meet September 1st again, and start to push that out, and the other groups are meeting again. So what's great about this is the collaboration piece. Now, everyone's got a kind of a piece of this, and they have a stake in the business right now, because they went to the summit, they heard it, first and foremost, and they're excited about moving it forward. We put budget money in from our grants for traveling to go see these schools and to mirror them for a couple days. And then what we'll do is we'll report back to the board as we move further, maybe mid-year. Our plan is to have the portrait of the graduate out in the committee in place by February, and to have the other initiatives originally designed by April, like the design phase of it. So what we can do is push those into the committee towards the end so they can see what we're looking to do moving forward. That gives us May, June, July, August to kind of reset if there's any new ideas and filter it through before we implement anything. And we'll talk about it more, and I'll investigate it more, but we talked about the residencies and how important I think that'll be, and something that we probably want to look to invest in, because I think the return on investment on that would be absolutely huge. To have teachers go out into the working world, come back and mirror students, mentor teachers, and look at different shifts in instructional models because of what they're seeing in the working world would transcend what we can do, each day. Because, the good and bad of being a teacher is you don't get out to see the working world, like in accounting or in hospitals or, in the business field, because you're so busy doing everything you're doing in teaching. So this is an opportunity to see what the real working world is, outside of education looks like. Does that kind of make sense a little bit? A lot, right?
Any question? I have one. So is at this point the time frame to try and implement at least part of it in a year from September? Is that the plan at this point?
I don't know what that plan is yet. It'll be interesting to see what we get and how we put it together. One thing I want to be really careful of is that we cross every battery I and cross every T and do it with full fidelity. So when we roll it out to faculty and staff, it's been done properly. And if that takes another year, then I think it'll be worth it. But good start, really good start yesterday with a bunch of people who want a summer off who came in and worked for 2 hours and already have meetings next to come back. So
I think it's good that you're not rushing it.
Yeah.
It's this way you can get all the pieces together and make it, because it sounds like a fantastic thing. If we're gonna invest in it, we should do it properly.
right. as you know,
Yeah.
field, when we go too quick, we lose it, you know?
And then it goes away in 2 years and you're just wasted all this time. So if you're gonna invest the time, or invest the money and the time.
And if you hiccup it,
Yeah.
it gives doubt to faculty, staff, and parents and
Yeah.
community members, and you lose the momentum.
And you wanna get the buy-in.
Yes.
And in order to get the buy-in, you've gotta take the time so everybody is educated on how to do it. So I think it's great.
And they're the sounding board right now too, which is great. You know, that group of 20 that we have is a sounding board out to our faculty and staff. Hey, we're doing this.
Mhm.
Just want to let you know, this isn't a top-down approach, this is just an across approach, you know? So, good overall.
Any other questions?
One
comments?
person asked if we work over the summer.
Okay, so we can move on to approvals. I would like to ask for a motion for consent agenda. For B through double F. Do
Motion.
I have a motion?
Yes.
Second? You
I'll do
can't
the
do a
second.
motion and
A
second.
second.
I didn't
No,
know
she
what I
did
got.
motion.
Oh, you
She
did
did the
motion
second.
and second.
Yeah.
Okay, so I missed it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll get started. Anything on the minutes? No? Okay, bills. I have two questions on the bills. Why are we giving $14,000 to Wex Bank?
That's the fuel company that we use for the buses.
Okay, it's fuel?
Fuel thing.
Okay, thank
Remember
you.
we'll hold it.
Yeah, I just didn't remember, Wex Bank didn't ring a bell. And then the other one is kind of a, just, we have a $190 check to the Department of Treasury.
Yeah, that
What
was
is
for, our health insurance plan. It's a fee that the government puts on the plan and we have to pay the IRS.
Is that just for the marathon or is that the all?
No, that's for, the deductible,
Oh, okay.
the HRA.
I was just
It's
kind of
actually
surprised.
for
Why do we send money to the
2021.
Department of
That's the
Treasury?
fee for 2021.
Well, they all got a piece of the pie.
They gotta get their money.
And just give you, just a sidebar, Amanda, we got the result back for starting January, it's a 1% increase.
For what?
Our 65 and others, 1%.
Good for you.
So,
Any budget transfers? Anything there? Again, I have one, the transfer to the BOCE staff development. $19,000. I'm wondering how does that come into play?
These are transfers that were done in June to, when there's like a negative in one account and you switch it between accounts. So there must have been extra BOCES training that we did, so I had to put money in that account and take it from another BOCES account. It's all within BOCES,
Okay,
in the BOCES budget.
thank you. Anything else on that? Okay, moving right along to treasurer's report. Anything there? I will just say that Fed's raising interest rates and our interest rates are still going down, which is really disheartening, but I'll stop there. Okay, district safety plan, we discussed. Any other
we'll make those
questions there?
changes, yep.
Okay, so, we can go ahead and approve it with the projected
Yep.
Changes, okay? Code of conduct, anything there?
Nothing new updated this year. We vetted out with legal, there's nothing really new.
The tax levy, we agreed on that, no changes there. OESJ agreements,
Summer school, we had the special education class in-house. This is going to always check.
and the three, vision, agreements. Northeast Parent Child Society,
So student placement.
oh, I'm sorry, let's go back. Okay, never mind, sorry. Okay, Community Action Agency, come on. It's working all of a sudden.
MOU, Fulton Community Action Agency.
Yep.
That is a change to our pre-K. Our pre-K 3 enrollment's down. So we're going to one room instead of two, because we just don't have enrollment.
Age 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way we get funded from New York State, which we know we didn't get an increase in 10 years, make sure that's on the record again. When you have, we're on the rolls for 18 3-year-olds. When you only have 14, you get $6,500 per student taken away from that. So if you still run 2 classrooms, you're still paying that expense the full month. With 14 students, we don't need 2 classrooms. So what they did is shifted these 2 4-year-olds, and sometimes when you're hitting 3 to 4, you keep them down in one room, but they're full 4-year-olds, they can go up to the room that we have, with our pre-K 4s. And that leaves us with 14, 13, or 3-year-olds. So with this new agreement, we shaved off about $50,000 of cost. But remember, we're gonna get hit on the back end with the funding. Not as much as $50,000, but we saved some money overall. So that's what this agreement is. Change to what the current plan is. Hope it's a hiccup, and next year we're gonna roll this back up. Our demographic and our childbirth rate in our area shows that we have the kids. So it's either people not working and keeping students home still, or just an anomaly. So we'll see next year. So this is what the change is to the agreement.
Any more questions here? Okay, then the food service the school lunch program renewal, I'm assuming that continues to free lunch. Okay, and then the adult prices, anything there? Okay, the MOAs,
What food service bids, those are just an ordinance.
no, the MOAs.
Right, I think you wrote the food service bids. I missed it. MOAs, this is the APPR, the updated APPR, met with the union. We're moving to 2 Regents exams as opposed to 16 SLOs. We know the model has changed with this, meaning what this used to be when it started, how the test scores used to be tied to your APPR, they're not, anymore as much. So instead of having more work for our teachers, there's less work involved in our teachers right now in terms of SLOs. So that's the direction we're moving with that. And that's for the first one is the administrative, because that changes, because theirs is in coordination with the teachers. And then the QS one is the one you're seeing there.
One of the things it talks about in both of those is that 50% of the evaluation will be based on observation and teaching performance. Is that different than what now exists?
No, it's still the same. Nothing's really changed except the two readings. We have the ability every year to change that too.
HFM BOCES lease.
This is the 811 classes that we're having up at the school. We took the 811 classes in because they had no place to put them. So we would have been kind of lost with the students that we had placed. So we have them housed here, and that's the agreement. You can see the rent that they're paying us for using the classrooms. And plus, the teachers will be getting extra stipend if they're teaching the class, 20% more than they would have received if they were teaching a 5.5 or 6 block. Because they're not teaching all of our students. They're teaching, some of the other students. So it'd be more, we give them more of a stipend, I guess, that's what.
Are these the special education teachers?
No, this would be the content area teachers.
Okay.
Like the math and science package, so if they had to teach a 6 block, they wouldn't get 4,500, they get 4,400. Yeah.
Okay,
So where are the teachers going that are in these classrooms? Like the 106 and 107, 108?
Oh, they've already determined they wanted to leave those spots. They're moving, Hammond's is moving upstairs. She'd already planned to move upstairs. And the other ISS, we're moving to a different spot. So those are the classrooms.
The third one is
The floating spot.
the floating one, which they said put in there that we really don't have to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a classroom that's used half-time anyway, if we had to use it for a meeting or two.
Okay, we're ready to move on? Or
Just out of curiosity, do we have a full class?
I think they're full, right? Yeah, from all different.
As of per my meeting yesterday.
And remember, these are BOCES, and they're being taught by our the BOCES teachers and guidance, psychologists. It's just our teachers teaching the one section of math and one section of science. So, I don't have to worry about transportation for the kids, which is a good thing. And we have them in our building, which is nice. Our kids.
Okay, move on. Pathways to restorative communities. Could you talk about that? Because that's something new.
Yep, Well, we've had the initiative with restorative practices, and we've been doing a lot of that work at the middle school and high school level. So what we're doing with this group is that they're going to be very similar to conscious discipline and all that work and training that they provided to the teachers at the elementary level. These guys are coming in and going to be providing that type of instruction to our secondary staff. So for the year, there'll be 2 3-hour sessions for 7 through 12, as well as training for a smaller group of like our early adopters of the restorative practices. There'll be training for like a smaller group, and then opportunities to do some coaching throughout the year for them, so that we can really, bring it into their classrooms. Because I know Nick and Lindsay have done a fantastic job of doing it within their world, working with students. But now we're trying to expand upon that.
Okay, so just be involved more.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're going to do the same thing with conscious discipline to re up some training there too as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of new staff.
Because of all the new staff that we've had.
Okay.
So,
So this will just be the high school or the school?
It's 7-12.
Okay.
7-12. Yeah.
7, 12, okay. Any other questions on that? Okay, BOE substitute list. And then there's all the reserve funds. Any questions on any of those? You go through one at a time, but we all good there?
resolutions, one to adopt, you have to do it every year, and the other one's putting the money in, which we do every year.
So we good on those?
Yep.
Yes, everyone? Keith, yes?
Yep.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the approvals.
Motion to
Consent
approve.
agenda. Second? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Thank you.
Double F.
Okay, so we'll move on to personnel. We'll do a consent agenda on that as well. I would entertain a motion for consent agenda.
Motion.
Have a second? All in favor? Thank you. Okay. So we'll just go down, we'll accept resignation, Carolyn Martin from long-term substitute.
And then he's gonna fill the next.
Yep.
A lot of these dump into.
We have a lot of
Yeah.
dominoes here.
Okay, so the B will be replacing her, is that?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on that one? Math AIS teacher in the middle school.
That's the same person, they're just moving B to C, yeah.
Okay, I think we're lucky to get a math teacher, those hard to find.
Do yourself a favor, go on OLAS.
Yeah.
And take a look at the number of openings still for math, science, special education, and what was the other one? There was one more. There's
Facts.
There's,
We have like consumer science.
there's 4 pages of special education teachers, there's 3 pages of music and math teachers with 3 weeks left to go.
We're all
I heard
just stealing from each other.
Syracuse had like
Yeah.
1,200 positions they still haven't filled.
Our
Yeah, right?
HFM Mosey's just lost 5 people
Oh,
this week.
Yeah.
HFM Mosey's
Where
lost
they
5
going?
this week.
To other
Other
districts.
jobs.
Like, we are literally stealing
People
from
are
one another.
hopping, yeah.
Yeah. And you can go wherever you want right now.
Here's the other thing people are doing too, they're paying step 10, 11,
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
So we're used to, as you guys know, used to 4 or 5. You wouldn't go much further than that. Now they're,
Getting it
people are paying
everywhere.
step 10, 11,
New car.
12. Here's what an interesting one I heard. Queensbury Central School District, Union Free School District, very prominent school district up north. Advertised for a special education teacher on the radio. They listen to the radio. I've never heard, you know what I mean? That is amazing. Because they were slam dunk, they would get first pick up in that area because everybody would go to that school. But I heard a radio, yeah, so it's definitely a different ballgame right now.
Okay, so, then we get on to the long-term leave replacements. We have teachers taking a month leave in September and I'm assuming this is for
Finish for retirees. And our substitute retirees.
Okay, Annette Ortiz is
Into
leaving.
a closed school
have Nicole Tableau.
Not returning to the field, her second child, husband's a lawyer, living in Albany, and just decided to stay home. Had a feeling, she talked about it before she left, but made the decision.
Okay, but we did find a special education teacher to replace her, which is nice.
Yes.
Any questions on that? Another resignation,
This was an aide we filled, but was a certified teacher, and ended up getting, we were excited we got an aide as a certified teacher, but we rolled the dice that they got a job, so. Then we appointed the next one.
so we appoint someone to replace her.
Yes.
And then we have bus drivers, which is wonderful, that we found 3 more bus drivers.
You're not kidding there.
That's a
If you look at
miracle.
one name there, it's quite interesting, right? Gary May.
He loves it.
What part of retirement don't you understand? Okay, and we have a couple of monitors and a substitute monitor, any questions on those? Okay, another resignation,
This one's backfilling, he's not coaching varsity football. And then the next one is, he's moving from modified to the appointment of varsity. And then the modified is being filled by our new guidance counselor.
Jack Scaldo-Ferry,
Yes.
okay. Spring coaches, any questions on those? Good,
Yeah.
everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Summer hours,
This was the new guidance counselor. Guidance counselors should work over the summer, a certain amount of days. When we appointed him, we didn't put the days in, so we just put the days. He's been up here all this week, so
Brought us donuts.
excited. Moved in Schenectady,
Smart.
Long Island, so we all moved in. Actually, this unit, so he's out of town.
moved here?
Yeah, he has moved up from Long Island. so
Yep.
we're all set.
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Long Island, it's Long Island.
Long Island, yeah.
And then the other one is
Had a
a
big
tech
meeting.
aid. So we can start to roll out the new inventory and the new Chromebooks and get that ready for open houses.
So I assume that will be you, Wayne?
Yes, there's a lot of front loading. We're moving the inventory of devices over to the Alexandria library system. So to do that, they have to input all of the device models and serial numbers and things like that into the library system. But now when a student is issued a device, just like we issue them a book, it's issued to them, scanned through that, and then it follows them, just like a novel would. So it's a much more accurate way to keep inventory. There's just a front-loading end to it.
Okay, so we got through it all. I would entertain a motion to approve the personnel plans.
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Before they find another job, quick.
Okay, so we'll move on to new business. The solar pilot project, fund balance reserves. Take it away, Nick.
I'll go over some of this. Leah can kind of, if I'm missing anything, or if you open up that spreadsheet, a couple things. This is our updated fund balance and reserve plan. We showed this last year and where we anticipated things to be. And we have a solar project that is, backtrack. I talked to you about a month or two ago about another solar project where we get an educational contribution up front. Well, I mentioned this to the other solar company, which is the Mohawk Solar. And they came back and gave us an offer to do the same thing. And here's the good thing about that. When you do a solar project that affects your pilot project, if you look to the right of that spreadsheet that I gave you, here's what happens when you get, for example, we're gonna get $130,000 a year for 15 years. Now, that sounds great, and it's a nice piece of the pie there. But what it does to your tax levy and your tax cap is it loses 1.67% on our tax levy. So if we can only go up 3%, we can actually only go up 1.37%. Does that make sense? Because that substitutes it in with the formula. So this just gives an example. We have about $72,000 is 1% for us about. So if we lost 1.67%, that's about $120,000. We're getting 130,000 in. All right, we're making 10,000. That's what we're thinking. Go down to the bottom. You see where it says 15-year impact? Here's what it does indirectly over 15 years. To the left side, see where it says 7,947,649? If you went up an average of, I just used an average of 1.75 a year. We usually go up 2.5. Let's just say 1.75. Your tax levy after 15 years is $10 million. You see that at the bottom? If you lose 1 percentage point, instead of 1.75, you only go up 0.75. This is your tax levy after 15 years. So why the 130,000 is good for 15 years, when the 15 years is over, you're now sitting in this position. So they moved to this educational contribution piece, which the comptroller doesn't have any wording out on it yet, but people are doing it. It's educational contribution up front. So this solar company is offering us anywhere from 1.2 million to 1.4 million up front over, I'm going to ask for 2 installments. They wanted 3, I'm going to ask for 2. I don't want to prolong this longer than we have to, in case things change, the economics of things. So where it looks like we were going to get 1.9 million in, and now we're only going to get 1.3 million in, oh, we lost $600,000. No, we really didn't. If you look down at your tax impact, we're not losing, we're gaining overall. So our pilot now becomes $1 as opposed to $130,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So with both of those, that gets us about $1.5 to $1.6 million over the next 2
So
or
that
3 years.
includes more conversions
Yes.
to this educational grant.
Correct.
Okay.
They're waiting to hear back from what we want to do, and I can get back to them if we're in favor of this. I talked to, what's the place over in Worcester? State Aid Planning. They do fiscal advising, and I also talked to legal on this, and obviously they, makes all the sense in the world to move to an educational contribution model. I'm kind of glad they said it because we would have been out. Look at that tax levy difference in 15 years. Am I missing anything there?
And also with this educational grant, they said all of our salaries are going to be doubled.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so excited.
So a couple things we have going too. If you look to where the fund balance, you see where it says 822, it's highlighted. That is more than we anticipated having, for a couple of reasons. One, our revenue collection was more than in the past. We collected more revenue. You don't always collect 100% of your revenue in a year. So that was up. With that, correct me if I'm wrong, Mia, but some of that has to do with the BOCES increase too, because we have more things going into BOCES, and the year later we get more of a reimbursement. Remember, we get 70 to 80% of it back, anything that we spend. So we're being smart fiscally in how we're doing that because it's paying us back later. So that's a 12% fund balance at this point. Good and bad, right? In terms of, now if you go down below, look at 722. You see where the reserve balances are? Our reserve balances are a little bit healthier than we anticipated as well. So our TRS, which was 144,000, can be moved up because of a new figure. Is that correct?
You can do 2% of your teacher salaries a year into the TRS reserve,
Gotcha.
but only for 5 years, and it can only be 10% overall. So you can do 2 for 5 years, and then it can only be a max of 10% of the salaries at the end of 5 years. It's convoluted. But next year, so for the next, so this was year 2.
Year 2.
So for the next 3 years, we'll be able to put more in that one, but only 2%.
And what is the advantage of putting money into TRS?
It's like the same as the ERS one, so that we can use it later on
Okay,
to
so
help
can you
pay
take it
that
out later on
TRS
if we need it?
bill.
and then your ERS is, you see where that figure is at. Our capital reserve is 1.198 million. Remember, 705,000, that's being pulled out for the capital project. So there's $493,000 in there, really. And then we still have our equipment reserve. And if you look what's going on in 723 and 724, what the anticipation would be for those amounts, because here's the reality too, by 2025, we're gonna be ready for another building project. And Patty can kind of confirm this, and Mark can too. Sitting in that meeting, we had about $20 million of repairs that we'd have to do. This year, we're doing 5.7 million, so we're anticipating $15 million worth of a building project. So we need $1.5 million in that account to do a no tax increase and take care of all of our expenses. So we're well on our way to do that. So there's some influx of some cash that's going to be coming in. And I think we carefully want to look at where we want to spend that. Does that make sense? There's a couple things. I met with a company about our infrastructure, our wireless infrastructure. That has to be redone. And that's going to be a little bit more expensive than anticipated, but that'll set us up for the next 10 years. And that's redoing the entire wireless. That's something we definitely need to invest in, right?
So you're talking about this educational money that we'll be seeing?
This and the fund balance piece. Like right now, 12%, as we know, is high. We're comfortable with 8, 9, 12. So we want to put it back for our kids and back to our programs, right? So I think we talked about the auditorium. This is another piece where we use it all the time, you know, for every piece. That's 23 years old now. So looking at lighting, sound, things of that nature for that place. We're also looking at, let's see here, construction, I want to make sure I have, sorry. I talked to you last time about how 20 teachers put in for the re-imaging of the furniture in the classroom. We've got that broken up into a couple of years. If we could, it would be great to move forward and do all the teachers so somebody doesn't be left out. And hey, if somebody wants to re-image, let's run with it, you know, in terms of if that's going to happen, because I'm sure more people want to do it next year, you know, which is the whole idea. So we can start looking at those areas, I think, that we're going to spend anyway. You know what I mean? And we can start to look at some other areas that we feel that we may need as well. I know Wayne has wanted, he needs a new pressure washer, for example, and he needs an undercarriage for the buses, an undercarriage washer. That can come out of our equipment reserve. That's no big deal. But just there's some things coming up. So I would suggest that we kind of move forward, at least with the furniture, the infrastructure, and the furniture, the infrastructure, I'm sorry.
Other big one was the
Oh,
pool
sorry.
dehumidifier.
Don't need that. I talked to Stephen, and they did an evaluation of the humidifier, and it's the pieces in the dehumidifier that fell apart. So they're gonna be able to replace the pieces. Dehumidifier in the pool, so that saved a big chunk of money. So it's
Auditorium was the third.
auditorium, excuse me. I suggest that we move forward in looking at that, because that has the biggest impact right now on us. And the infrastructure in terms of the wireless, that only is probably gonna go up over the next couple of years, so if we can lock into something there and get that. That's gonna happen next year or the year after anyway, or next year, as you're talking about. So we can move forward and get that in place. So if we're in favor of that, to move forward, I can kind of start to get some things rolling. Here's what I would also suggest. Let's put the finance committee together, look at the rest of that money and see what we might want to recommend. Obviously, a chunk of it's going to go into the capital reserve, because we want to make sure that's up so we can do a $15 million project. And then if there's any other ideas or thought concepts that we want moving forward. Does that make sense? I think you're looking at as many one-time hits, so you don't have to worry about 5 years from now doing infrastructure for $200,000, or buying the pressure washer, or, you know, I think you want to get those hits out of the way so they don't become expenses for us later. Also, we might want to talk about doing a second equipment reserve and build that. So we're always set, so there's no general fund expenses for equipment. It's just all out of the equipment reserve. That way our general fund is just our general fund. meaning there's no surprise truck, or no surprise lawnmower, or no surprise furniture. That kind of makes sense? So are we okay if we move forward with those 3 items? And if we're not, it's not the end of them. And then what I mean by moving forward is I would get some information and bring it back next month and make a final decision. Does that kind of make sense? And then I think my recommendation is put together a finance committee to talk about, because that 1.5 million is not coming for a couple of years, to sit down and say, what do you think we want to do with that? And vet it out through the finance committee back to you. Does that make sense?
And so can you give us, at the next meeting, give us approximate costs for these 3?
Yeah, I'll try to get as much as I can by then.
You know, obviously it has to be bid and all that, but,
Yeah, a lot of it's
and
state contract stuff, so I think we'd be, here's the thing, infrastructure, am I wrong on this, or am I right on this? That would be through BOCES?
So all the infrastructure stuff would be through BOCES. The only thing I'm unclear of is if the labor aspect of it can be built through BOCES. But all the hardware can be built through BOCES, in which long run, we would get our aid back on it. So we pay a 9% fee for their time, organizational administration, et cetera, but then we get 80%
so we
back.
get 89% back.
No, 82, I think.
Oh, 81?
91 is a building.
Oh,
81.
It's 76 or something.
76?
Yeah.
76 for BOCES.
Just throwing numbers out.
It's 70 something, it's 70 something.
It changes
How
every
about the auditorium and the furniture, is that aidable?
No. But I had the same company that put in the lighting system and everything 20 years ago came and looked at it. And, you know, gave us some ideas of what we think we need. He was a fire. It was good. So he's supposed to be getting me a price quote on what that would cost. And I mean, that's the show place, right? And that's where we do everything, our graduations, our shows, our concerts. So thousands of people go in there a year, right? And I think the furniture piece, I'm excited to see that many teachers who are excited to redo their classrooms. So if we can give that back sooner than later, I think that's a win-win for our students.
I think it's motivational,
Mhm.
I think so too.
which is what it's all about.
And alter instruction a little bit to
Yeah.
the areas we want to. And now we have 20 classrooms modeled, which could anticipate another, hopefully 20, you know, so that's kind of the idea as well. And it's a good cross-reference from all over the district too, which is nice. So. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
So, overall, pretty interesting. The financial side of things, that financial contribution just changed things a little bit and allows us to put us in a good place. And you know what's going to happen in 2 years as well. The federal grants go away, and as you see in there, they're backfilled a little bit. So the cliff will fall a little bit, but that's why we're building up our reserves. So it slides into that direction. And we will see an increase also. We just did a contract, you know, for the betterment of keeping teachers and keeping people here. So we'll see a bump next year financially in that. So.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, move on to enrollments and the 31 policy.
This is just something, as we go through enrollments every year, I just want to make sure where we are. We have a policy, 7131, if students who outside district come in, as long as it doesn't increase the costs for our district, right, like for example, special education costs, if we have to get another teacher, that type of stuff. I just want to make sure that we can discuss how we want to do this. If we get to a point where we're at, like we said last year, 70 students, right, in the class, but 4 of them are out-of-district students. Are we comfortable, first and foremost, saying those 4 students need to go first? And then we fill, because if we get it down to 66, we might be able to still keep 3 sections for example, right, as opposed to 4 sections. So our policy states that any student coming in that would cost us extra money, we would say we couldn't house them. So for example, Chris's 6th grade is 70-something kids. He's not accepting any more 6th graders because it's getting to a point where it's, you know, overloading, you know, some of the courses. Do we go in that direction first? Do we tell the students that they can't come to our school? And then, you get what I'm saying? You follow me? So we have 70 students in second grade, for example, or first grade, and we're teetering over that fourth section.
Right.
Is the first line of defense telling those 4 or 5 students, there's 71, 31 kids, we can't house them first?
I understand that part. What's the second part you're talking about? Like, this would be first, so what's second?
That would be the first, that would be the,
Just
Okay.
that's.
So what you're
Okay.
saying, so what you're saying is,
we don't ever want to put ourselves in a situation where we're saying, let's fill the fourth section, but we let those 4 kids stay. You get what I'm saying?
So then we have 4 underfilled sections?
No, 4 kids. So 4 kids who are out-of-district students, for
so
example.
what you're saying is we have 3 sections that are filled.
Yep.
If we have those 4 extra students, we're gonna have to add
That might tip us over.
that might tip us over into, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Yep, this is why I want the conversation.
Okay,
Yep.
so we could have 4 students that move into the district, or we could have 4 students that leave the district.
Correct.
And then those 4 students could have come in if either of those 2 scenarios come in.
Right. Those 4 were obligated, right? The 4 that
Right.
move into our district are obligated. If it gets us to 71 students, we have no choice.
Right.
We have a choice, letting go of 4 students and getting it to 65 or 66 and still having 3 sections. So are we comfortable with, because that's the way our policy reads. It doesn't increase. We're not in that situation this year, but I'm just, as you look at numbers, you just want to make sure we're telling parents up front, this is the way that it'll go. You know what I mean?
Well, I think one other question that we should be talking about is what is the ideal class size at that level? You know, because maybe we should, even if it's 66 students,
Right.
maybe we want 4 sections.
Good conversation.
So that's something I think that we really need to talk about and get input from the teachers and, you know,
Yep.
and, you know, so we can make those, because that might be,
Yep.
I think
you know,
that's key.
a superfluous decision, because we might decide
Yeah.
we should have 4 sections. And
Agreed.
so, come on down, you know, or
I just want to make
I
sure
agree.
we're set,
I
and
totally agree with
it was kind of fluffy the last 3 or 4 years. I felt like we were making sometimes decisions on, you know what I mean? And I felt a little uncomfortable about what's the mark, right? Because, and we get ourselves wrapped up into sometimes, we care a lot about kids, we want kids to have a good experience, and we don't want to say no, right? But remember that out-of-district policy is built because we don't want to incorporate any new costs, right? We don't want to bring on a special education teacher or a 4th section if that overflowed to that.
I think what Mark said is important. I think what we need to do to revamp that policy is we need to get input from the teachers at each of the grade levels. I mean, we can all give our input
Sure.
as to what we think it is, but they're the ones who are teaching and they're the ones who are there, that to get a collective input, you know, especially at the elementary level, middle school and high school, it's easier to have.
Yeah, we can make that work a little bit.
But the elementary is key. I mean, you have to have small class sizes, so you do have less special ed needs later on, you know, which saves the district in the long run. Yep. So, that's where my personal opinion is you need to have lower class sizes in K1, 2.
That's what we just talked about last
You
night,
know,
yeah.
at 3, 4, 5, you can go up a little bit, and 6 through 12,
And it
a little
really
bit
depends upon the
easier.
class.
It
too.
does,
Sometimes
it
you have an
does.
easy class, Sometimes you have a difficult class.
And there's 2 levels of this. One, we have a contract that says you can up to this many, right? 25 kids in a class. What are we establishing new contractual? Meaning, we're gonna want 22.
I don't think so.
First
I think
grade.
it's more of
Contractual.
a policy, not a written, even a written policy, but just, you know, our thing is that we would like to keep the classes small in K through 2. If that's 18 kids, that's kind of the cutoff.
And it
18
doesn't,
above doesn't really matter, but below 18 does.
Yep.
That maybe that's something that we strive for. It may not always work, but we can always try to strive for
right,
Sure.
because there might be a year where, you know,
it. We just can't
little
do it.
Johnny moves in February,
Yeah.
okay, well, now we're at 19, well, you know,
Yeah.
it's February.
Right, I think we write it in a certain way where we say, you know, 18 to 20 or something to that nature. You know, we strive for 18, but we
Yeah.
don't go over 20, you know, something of that nature.
These
Okay.
are families that live out of district.
Yes.
This is twofold. One is, I think we definitely want to establish a cutoff figure. That'll give us our first line of defense. And our second line will be, okay, now we know we have 20, for example, or 18. Anything over that, we're gonna tell those out-of-district students, they're going first before we make.
Is there any tuition or anything, or for our?
There is, but it would still cost us.
No, I understand.
So
Yes.
what happens if somebody's been here for 2 years and then all of a sudden, that's where my concern is, now you gotta
I
say goodbye
agree.
to them?
But that's understood coming in,
Okay.
and that's the hard part sometimes. But
You're not saying though that we're gonna release a kid mid-year. I don't think you can do that.
No.
we could.
Ethically, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't like releasing a kid if they've been here for a couple of years. I get why it might have to
Yeah.
happen. But, releasing a kid in February because we had, quadruplets move in is not fair. I just don't think.
Yeah, that's pretty commonplace when you have an out-of-district policy.
Does Fort Plain have a similar policy to us? I'm assuming we're talking
They
about,
don't let any more students.
They're done. They no longer do take out district.
I'm sorry?
They no longer.
They no longer take out of district students.
is primarily that who we're talking about, families in Fort Plain, or it could be Amsterdam?
It could be
We
anywhere.
have them all over.
We've had quite a few students that are out of district.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I influx of fun this year.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Sharon Springs.
I think it's good, because that's saying something about our school.
Yeah.
So I don't really wanna shut that down either,
I just think we want to make sure whatever our policy is, we want to kind of stick it, we got to be consistent with it. Meaning, are we not incurring any costs? Is that our policy, right? Is the incurring cost piece the policy? But if we put totals on classes, that kind of helps that a little bit.
And
Meaning,
that's what I think would be the first step.
yeah,
Okay.
And then, once we establish that, then our policy does say,
Yeah.
if it would require, additional costs.
okay.
And
Well, we'll come back with totals next month and we'll talk a little bit more about it. What's the input, yeah. I just want to make sure it's not muddy. You know what I mean, going forward?
Yeah.
So when parents come in, we say, hey, here's our 20 kids, we're not gonna go any more than 20 kids in the first grade, we're at 19 right now, just wanna let you know. And if it goes up over 20, you have to go back to your home school. As we're getting to August, and we're finding out that now, like you said, 4 kids, right, now it's 21 apiece. So those 4 would have to go, and then we have to, so,
The good thing is our numbers are lower in kindergarten, definitely, but right now, and, first and second look like 2021 students. So, as of right now, from
kindergarten's
enrollment.
like 50.
Kindergarten is 42 enrollments.
Alicia, do we get some,
teachers?
traditionally, do we get some? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we get
Yes.
some coming up as this year starts, but, boy, that's,
I mean, in the
Still low.
first week,
That's
week
still
or two
really,
closer to
that's,
school.
yeah, that's probably, we're still really low,
Yeah.
which is, fine, because
That's
then
good for those
the
kids.
class size is gonna be lower.
gotta worry about the enrollment piece, between that,
yeah.
remember the 3-year-olds, a little
Yeah,
concerned with that.
the,
It could be
in
on-
pre-K, we did get enough, hit we have 18 in Bowerman and 17 in Hilliard
That
right
sounds
now,
good.
which is very good for our grant purposes, but, for kindergarten, 42 is, they'll have
Low.
very low class
What do
size.
we traditionally have, like 60s?
Well, last year we had 4 sections and we were around the 70 mark.
Okay.
So, but then we dropped a couple students throughout the year. They left and went to other districts. They moved. So then the number dropped. So, right now, first grade is at 64, so they would be the highest enrollment. And then the second highest is 4th grade at 63. The rest are at 50, 51, 52.
Have you found that you tend to get an influx, like September 1st, when parents are like, oh,
Last year.
Mhm.
Yeah, last
I should
year,
roll.
Oh, yes, and I've had,
It happens.
I had communications do another release of like, hey, come and register. So, I had them put that out again a few times so that parents know we're still accepting applications. We just got one in kindergarten enrollment today, which isn't in there, so we will be up to 43. But, yeah, it is rather low, but we might see an influx, but to the point where we were last September, I'm doubtful, like, I don't think we'll be anywhere near 70,
Might get
70 or
50.
more, you know, so.
It's horrible.
So, all right, we'll go, we'll get totals next month. We'll bring back on the conversation.
Yeah,
Cut
get
it
the
out.
input and see where they're at in terms of what they feel their cutoffs are.
Sounds good.
Okay, anything else on that? And moving on to the last, we have to set a date to roast the superintendent.
Do that before next June, can we? I can do both at the same time.
So, I know next week is bad for me, I have a full week, how about the week after that? Does that work for people?
I'll be out of town.
I am,
Week after that?
and
20 to
can we do it
27.
before the board meeting on the 8th? I think there's a board meeting on the 8th.
Yes.
That's what I have on my calendar.
It is. It's school
Maybe like that
board.
same day?
Yeah, at like 6 o'clock. Just because it's really hard to keep scheduling multiple dates and stuff when we all have a variety of, and each of us has different schedules.
You, do it prior to the January board meeting?
Yeah, should we do?
I mean, that's my vote. I don't know if anybody else has any other input into that,
Does
but
that work for everyone?
What's the date, Mark?
The 8th, September 8th,
Now, is that you guys getting together again, or
No.
with me?
with you.
Oh, gotcha, okay, yeah, that's fine.
You think an hour would be enough?
Yep.
Because we already have our roasting document.
You're doing it for your extension.
That'd be fine.
that was good.
Okay, so, okay, for the 6 o'clock on the 8th.
Yep.
Okay? Okay,
What was that? You said you were bringing cake?
I heard that. He has his carrying case right there.
all right, so that'll be it. Okay, do we have anything for exec? Okay, I would entertain a motion to go on.
Motion.
Getting out.
Motion.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.